gonna swim, bike, and run in the Kona sun. We're gonna swim, bike, and run in the Kona sun 2021.
Thank you, Poncho Man. You are the absolute best. My name is Bob Babbitt. This Breakfast with Bob, not quite Kona edition. We are brought to you by Challenge North America, Credo Tri, UCAN, Hoka One, VeloFix, Normatec, Canyon Bikes, and of course, our Challenge Athletes Foundation. We just sent out 3,038 grants, totaling $5.1 million to keep challenged athletes in the game of life through sport. Our next guest, the big unit, yo himself, Mr. Sam Long, joins us. Sam, how the heck are you doing in camp?
I'm doing great. You know, my taper started today. I'm talking to you. I just got reminded that Kona's coming up in a few months by Poncho Man. So everything's great. And the race is coming in 9 days, you know, the North American champs at St. George. So no complaints from me.
So when I look at your coming off of your third place at 70.3 Galveston, which was phenomenal, the time difference was 26 seconds between with Lionel, you and Lionel.
Yeah, because what happened is Ben Canute, you know, came past me with about a half mile to go.
Yes.
And then we got in a bit of a sprint race. So then we were actually closing on Lionel. So then we all ended up coming together like pretty much at the same time. And of course, it was a great race, but it always sucks when you get third in that situation.
The three-man sprint, you get third.
I get third, but I was pretty happy overall with the race. Unfortunately, I dropped the ball a little bit in the swim, but my bike and run, I was very, very happy with, and just have to troubleshoot a few things in the swim, which I think I've already done leading into St. George. So now I'm looking forward to St. George even more.
So with St. George, and you're currently what in terms of the Collins Cup? You ranked fifth?
Yeah,
so
I'm ranked
for
fifth.
US?
Exactly. Yep.
And what do you need? Is it you have to be top 4 to go for sure, or how does that work?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, top 4 would be an automatic qualification, and then there's 2 captain's picks. So,
okay.
Of course, I don't want to rely on a captain's pick because that's just never guaranteed. I don't even want to be ranked 4th. I want to be ranked first when it comes around. So that's important. And I think the North American champs, I think, are the best way to decide that. It's one thing to perform at 70.3 Galveston or at Challenge Miami. It's another thing to perform at the events where there's 85 male pros on the list. It's called the North American champs, and I'm hoping to line that up both at St. George and Ironman Tulsa. So I think those could be 2 big statements.
Well, it's funny. I was just on the phone with David McNamee, and he's doing Tulsa, and Bart Arnotts is doing. I mean, it's because there's not that much racing. There's a lot of racers.
Yeah, St. George is next level. It's next level. Everyone's there.
I've looked at this like Rudy Von Berg, Lionel Sanders, Ben Hoffman, Ben Canute, yourself, David McNamee, Sam Appleton, Magnus Ditleff, Andreas Streets, Jackson Laundrie, Matt Hansen, George Goodwin. It goes on and on and on. As when I was talking to Dave McNamee, he goes, all those names you mentioned, all of them are going there to be on a podium, right?
Yeah,
it's sort of like a Kona field or a World Championship 70.3 field.
Yeah, I counted. I went through the list and I counted 18 guys that could win the race. No joke, 18 guys. And I think that's pretty incredible to have a non-World Championship event that's got 18 world-class people who could win.
So you've been down in Tucson doing camp with Ron Bolton. And how long you guys have been there, and what have you gained from this camp?
How long I've been here, the time kind of blurs a little bit. I think it's been 10 weeks I've been down here, 10 or 11 weeks.
Wow.
And it's been really beneficial for me. I've just been living like a monk. Eat, sleep, train, prepare to be the absolute best, and commit to that day in and day out. And every day feels like Groundhog Day in the most beautiful way possible, because it's just, there's only one goal every day: become the best athlete and the best version of myself every single day, and repeat and repeat and repeat. And then 10 or 12 weeks goes by in the blink of an eye.
besides having obviously other great triathletes there, you also have athletes like Caroline Rotich, who's won Boston Marathon. What do you gain from an athlete like that from a different sport?
Yeah, I mean, certainly you gain, you can learn kind of how a different sport approaches it. Running is a bit different than triathlon in that they don't have to train anywhere close to as much as us crazy people in triathlon in terms of pure hours.
Yeah.
But what you learn from that, and especially I think what you learn, she's Kenyan, she's a Kenyan runner, is you learn how they approach recovery. And it's just amazing. I mean, it's 2 naps a day. She sometimes gets 3 massages a week. She eats very simple but healthy, and it's just like she just loves the lifestyle, and she's just a runner in the pure sense of the word. And it's pretty amazing. The last 2 days, I was actually, because I just started my taper, so I'm actually really resting up, and I was saying, I'm giving you a run for your money on the recovery the last 2 days, because I've been napping like twice a day the last 2 days. And, when she didn't think I was even here for like 5 hours. And I just said, oh, nope, I was here the whole time. I was just sitting in the Normatec boots, like reading a book for, 5 hours.
Right. It's so funny because I remember one of our close friends, Josh Cox, was a 2:13 marathoner, and he went and trained in Kenya. And he said, what I learned was that what we in America think is recovery when we go shopping and, we're doing errands, that isn't recovery. Recovery is when you are laying down with your eyes closed and doing absolutely nothing, napping or the next to napping. If you change your definition of recovery from what it used to be?
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, every year I've been lucky enough to do some training camps with her, and every year I think it helps me elevate to the point where, I take recovery incredibly seriously. Well, it's weird to say I take it incredibly seriously, because in order to recover well, you have to take it very lightly, right? Like if your mindset's like, oh, rigid and serious, and oh, I'm going to recover, I'm going to be the best recoverer in the whole world, then you're almost certainly not going to be recovering well, just because your mindset's that. It has to just be this like loose, relaxed, peaceful, easy living mindset when you recover, and that's how the parasympathetic nervous system recovers. So
listen to you, the guy who was doing like 5 and 6 Ironman races a year and just beating himself into the ground all the time, sort of like figuring out how to work this whole training thing. That's pretty cool.
Totally. Yeah. I mean, and Ryan's been a huge help too. I mean, don't get me wrong, he still pushes me hard in training, but there's times where we say, just really, really recover today, really recover all week. I mean, sometimes it's even recover for, 6 weeks, like right around the holidays, which was why I wasn't at Challenge Miami, because we didn't want to burn the candle too much leading into that race.
And that must have been hard for you. I know when we were going to Challenge Miami and you did our little long shot deal before,
totally,
which was a lot of fun. I could tell you wanted to be there. You want to go head to head with it. You want to race every race, but it's picking your spots and knowing you've got to go there. You've got to be ready to go to take down
to the ones you want to. Yeah,
for
exactly.
the ones you want, right? Galveston was the one.
Yeah, well, Galveston. Yeah, I mean, hopefully St. George is even more the one. So we'll see. I mean,
and obviously when you go to the start line, it's something like St. George, and for the rest of your season, you got St. George, and then hopefully you'll be doing you can do Tulsa. Then you got Collins Cup, which I'm sure you'll be doing, and then after that is first Kona.
Yeah, and
St. George
and Kona.
St. George Worlds, then first Kona. So
every race the rest of the year is high level. Big field, big athletes, big hype, big competition.
And something you haven't really been able to do is to say, I think these are going to happen. These are, that whole thing of, hey, maybe it's a 30% it's going to happen. There's St. George is happening, and then, Collins Cup and St. George again, and Kona and Tulsa, all those things will be happening.
Yeah, which is great. Like comparing my motivation this year to last year, I sort of had to manufacture motivation last year and say like, oh, I want to pursue this KOM, or oh, what's a big training objective I can chase? And I still felt like I was somewhat motivated in my brain, but now this year it's like the motivation's like 5 times more, because it's like, oh, there's these big events, and I know if I'm not totally on it, any one of these events, it's going to be an embarrassing day for myself. So I want to step it up, basically.
I think you made a big statement at Challenge Daytona, because I think there were people thinking, here's a guy who's online and is talking stuff, and we want to shut him up. And a lot of the Euros, I think, thought they were going to lap you during the race.
Yeah, they definitely did.
Yeah, and the fact that you were in the top 5 for a big chunk of that race and faded a little bit, did you come away from that, because you're racing Brownlee and Gustav Iden and all the top guys? Did you come away from that with more confidence than you had before?
Yeah, absolutely. I think I was happy with my result there, but I think the biggest outcome I got from that was confidence that I can be the best and that I can compete with the best. Unfortunately, I made like so many mistakes actually on that day as well that cost me time. I mean, Ryan was actually a little amazed with me at how many mistakes I made when we debriefed. And so we've been like, wow, if we just get rid of those mistakes, like, you know, I'm up there even more. And of course, it's easier said than done to eliminate mistakes, especially when you're a guy like me that likes to hype up the crowd and have fun and lose my mind, I guess. But we're working on that.
Well, but that's energy. I mean, that's energy that. It's funny, Ryan Hall, top American marathoner, who ran 2:04:58 at Boston. When people would be introduced at the starting line of Boston, he would be, a lot of the pros would be, you know, head down, ignore the crowd, not really, I don't want to give away any energy. Mark Allen never gave away any energy. Well, Ryan was like, hey, I want the energy. I want the energy from the crowd. And he took that and he thrived on it. That seems to be you.
Totally. Yeah, absolutely. That's exactly the conversation we've had, and sort of when do you ride that energy and use it to kind of hype me up. And the problem at Daytona was that I got so hyped up with the energy, I forgot to take a gel. Like on that second loop of the run, I just forgot, and then it was basically too late. So it's using that energy in the crowd when I need to, but also keeping my head about me nutritionally and pacing.
So what do you think you need to do to beat Lionel?
You know, I think it's actually, I just need to swim with him, and then I think I have a good shot.
Isn't that funny? You're like the swim is probably what he'd consider his weakest thing, but if you're there with him in the swim, you know you can ride and run with him.
Exactly. I mean, I still think anything can happen, but I tell you what, when I came out of 70.3 Texas, and I literally heard coming out of transition, everyone wanted to remind me. They said, "You're 2 minutes behind Lionel Sanders. You're 2 minutes behind Lionel Sanders." And I was like, "Oh my God, you've got to be kidding me. Like, what am I going to do? Nobody bikes and runs 2 minutes faster than Lionel Sanders. Like, it just doesn't happen." But I was like, whatever, just commit, see what you can do. And so to get that down to 26 seconds, like I think it is, I was pretty happy with. And, you know, maybe he had more in the tank. Maybe he could have dug a deeper well. But I like to think a guy like that usually goes pretty deep in any race.
No question.
That I think the best battle I could possibly have is if we swim together, kind of like we did at Daytona. But Daytona, we were more allies. Like, we were trying to just get up to the front of the race after we swam so poorly, and everyone else was in a big bike group saving so much energy. But I think if we can swim together, then like it's really going to be a battle to watch between the two of us.
What would it mean to you to win St. George? And obviously, if you do that, you knock off Lionel and everybody else.
Oh, it would be next level. I mean, yeah, it would be. It's my 5th time doing St. George. I actually remember it was the last race I did as an amateur before I got my pro card. Lionel won it that year. I think he went like something like 25 minutes faster than me, even though I was like the 2nd overall amateur at the race, and he still beat me by 25 minutes. And I literally remember there thinking like, well, I guess I should get my pro card, but I don't think I'll ever go anywhere close to that fast. I thought it was basically beyond human comprehension. And so now to be in a position where that could happen is, it's just amazing. And it tells how far I've come along the journey.
How important has Ron Bolton been in that journey?
Yeah, hugely important. I mean, hugely important. And I know, I mean, he probably believes believed I could do it before I did myself, not just for St. George, but kind of all of the milestones, like winning an Ironman, winning a 70.3. And even a year ago, a year and a half ago, I didn't believe I could even win 70.3s. And he was like, you can win 70.3s. And he just kept me on the program. And all I wanted to do was keep racing Ironman. And now I'm at a point where, I don't know, it's hard to say. A lot of people would maybe say I'm even a better 70.3 racer than an Ironman racer.
And the reality is, to be a fast Ironman, you have to be great at 70.3. In this day and age, you can't just be one or the other. If you want to be great longer, you've got to be great at 70.3.
Yeah, I think exactly, especially when you're 25 years old like me. If you can't go fast at 70.3, then it's going to be hard to go as fast as you need in an Ironman these days. Winning Ironmans, you're usually having to do two sub 4 hour 70.3s back to back. That's usually what it takes now.
That's wild. So we ask people to toss their questions to you. Who's your favorite triathlete of all time?
Oh, that's a great question. I just have so many idols in the sport. I'm actually going to go with Lionel Sanders. Lionel Sanders has provided the most inspiration to me. He's helped me step up my game the most. He's the guy before I became pro that I was looking up to the most. But a notable second place would have to be Sebastian Kienle as well. I think I like to see a lot of myself in Sebi, because I just love how his mindset, his attitude. He started off as a strong cyclist and just kept improving his run. And I'd probably want to be more like Sebi than Lionel, but they're both awesome guys, and Lionel stepped up my game more than anything.
Now, is Lionel someone you can sit down and have a chat with, or you guys sort of walk by each other, or what's that relationship?
Yeah, because we've been swimming with the same swim group here at slightly different times, but so I've been seeing him like twice a week. I guess I'm happy to say I've got his phone number, so I can hit him up, and I think we both have he's got good visions for the sport. He really wants to get that draft zone extended, make it a more true version of what Ironman's supposed to be, and non-drafting in the 20-meter draft zone, which Challenge and the PTO is doing a great job setting that. And he's just got great initiatives for the sport, and so he sometimes texts me about those, and I'm always like, this is a great idea, what can I do to help? And I don't have Sebi's number yet, so I got to work on that.
That is so cool. Hey, Sam, I'll let you go. I know you got recovery to do, man. So keep following that what Caro does, and when in doubt, take a nap.
Exactly. I just took one before the call, and I might take another one now. But thank you so much, Bob. Always a pleasure.
Sam Long has been our guest, everyone. Again, Breakfast with Bob, Not Quite Kona edition. We will catch you next time. See ya.